currency and digital asset adoption, and that one word is inflation. We're going to take a look at what is going on, not just in the world in general, but how everything is being picked up and people are talking about it more. And I think it's going to be the catalyst for the next step. So we'll take a look at that. We're also going to take a look at how different crypto projects are absorbing the smaller projects. And this is kind of like what we were talking about before. And lastly, we're going to talk about how to always prepare depending on whether if the situation is bear or bull, and things to look out for. So we'll get into all those things, but first, before we even look in the market, I want to talk about a little bit of a tragedy here in my country of the United States. Last night, a tornado ripped through Kentucky, and right now there are 80 people pronounced dead. And when I look at this, of what's going on in this situation, and I see that the destruction that's happening, it is massive on a pretty, just an enormous scale. What I want to do is for the proceeds that we get from the videos from YouTube, also our digital asset news, our D-News stake pool from Cardano, and also from our stake pool with Avalanche. For this month, we're going to donate to what is going on over there to the right, different entities that can help out with this awful tragedy. I think this was like one of the worst tornadoes in Kentucky's history. So heart goes out to them, and hopefully things turn out okay. So on top of that, let's take a look at what is going on in the market itself. So today it is Sunday, and you know, before I move on, I will say this. I know we complain a lot about the market and what's going on, and we think about the prices, but if you take a real step back and you zoom out the prices like we talk about, take it even farther step back and really zoom out about what's really important in life. And for these days that the prices go up and the prices go down, and you know, we get concerned with that. It really is the things that we hold the most dear, which is our friend, our family, our friends, the people around us. So just think about, you know, on the days that you're like, man, my portfolio is down, whatever else, just remember what's really important, and it's not money. So the market cap today, 2.27 trillion, and it's up a percentage point, looking pretty good. There's some different tokens that are up, and there's some that are down, and that's great. You know, Ethereum's here, 4,000, and so on and so forth. 3% for Cardano, great. I really think what's going on here is that we're starting to see this narrative being pushed about inflation, and this really hit home when I was perusing through Twitter like I usually like to do, and this is on Fox News. I don't know where you're at right now. I think Europe is pretty chugging along just fine. Asian markets are already, or the Asian demographics already been doing a lot of things. But in America, we're just waking up. It's 10 o'clock here in Puerto Rico, which means 9 o'clock in New York, and all the way back down to 6 in the Pacific time. But this just aired, I think it was yesterday or maybe last night, and it's Tucker Carlson on Fox News. And I just want you to listen to this, and it makes a lot of sense. And I can understand why Tucker Carlson is actually talking about these things, because he had Michael Saylor on not more than a week ago, and I think he got red-pilled, and now he gets it. I think a lot of people are getting it, and I think what's going on in America and around the world, people are starting to get it, and they know inflation is happening, but they're trying to look for that trap door, that out, or as my friend James at Invest Answers, their flight to safety. I think this just sums it up perfectly. Take a listen.
Tell us again, Joe Biden, how inflation is at 7%. Read some more government numbers to us. One group that would never even consider believing numbers like these, crap like this, is investors. They're not looking at the consumer price index. They do this for a living, and they know exactly what dangerous inflation looks like. And that's why they're buying hard assets. You see it everywhere. The median sales price of an existing single-family home in Austin, Texas, increased 33.5% in a single year. The median price of a condo around Miami has gone up nearly 21%. Now, real estate in Dade County was already wildly overheated. Now it's a bonfire. Why is that happening? Simple. Investors are afraid. Consider equities prices. The S&P 500 is up 28% in the last year. Now, if you're looking for the real inflation rate, that's a lot closer than the CPI is going to get you. But if you want to know what people who think about money for a living really think about the economy and the value of the US dollar, look at the value of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is by definition a refuge from inflation. People buy Bitcoin when they decide the US dollar is no longer safe. What's happened in Bitcoin? It's up 164% in the past year.
Yeah, so I think that really hits home about where people are understanding of not just the news, but the things that are going on as far as in finance. And I think people need this flight to safety. I think Tucker just put together pretty well. So I invest in all those things he was just talking about, and I think that as time goes on, it's going to be a pretty important thing that we get our hands around hard assets. And when you're trying to explain this to your friends, family, and loved ones, all you got to say is inflation. I need you to hit that word hard, because I need people to understand where things are going, so they're not doing like some of my family members are doing, which is saving cash in a savings account, which gives them 0.02% interest, and it just gets eaten away by the most insidious tax, which is inflation, and it's going up massively. It was 6.8% just in November. So when you're talking to them, if they don't understand about nodes, and don't understand about decentralization, and they don't understand about the principles of money, just talk to them. Just talk to them about purchasing power and inflation, and it'll make a lot of sense. And then I think that as time goes on, we're going to keep hearing inflation so much more, because in America we have a two-party system, and on one side they want to hit it home that this inflation is a big thing, which because they're trying to get out the Democratic president and try to go for a Republican president. So we're going to hear this narrative massively throughout all sectors. And this isn't a political channel, but this was in November 19th, about a month ago, about our president's handling of the inflation. So 33% approve, 67% disapprove. What do you think that number is now? And how much more do you think we're about hear about inflation? So let me know what you think about that in the comments section. Let's move on to our next piece, absorption. And this is it only makes sense to me that this is going on because it has to go on. This is how small businesses become bigger businesses. They just start to absorb these smaller businesses and become bigger and bigger. It's like that game, like a fish swims around, and then every time they eat this little fish, they grow a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bit bigger. And we were talking about this on DCA with me, Ben, and James, and I said this is how it's going to happen. This is the exact same way that if you want to take a look at what Amazon did, they just started to absorb everything and started buying up different corporations and businesses, because I knew that all they had to do is just keep buying and they would grow bigger. The same thing with Facebook. Facebook would be absolutely irrelevant if it wasn't for the fact that they picked up WhatsApp and they picked up Instagram and a host of other different things for billions and billions of dollars. And the same thing is happening in crypto, and it's good because then those big companies can grow even bigger, and we can get rid of these other ones that frankly aren't needed. So this is what is going on right now. Polygon acquires Mirror Protocol in a $400 million deal in order to bolster groundbreaking Z-Key roll-up tech. Polygon co-founder Mihailo Jelic nailed it. Jelic said Polygon is focused on zero-knowledge cryptography as the end game for blockchain scaling. Following Polygon's acquisition of the Hermes network, now the Polygon Hermes, for $250 million, which you think that's a lot. It's not a lot. In August, the project has announced it has purchased the Ethereum scaling startup Mirror. Now, the Mirror team is joining Polygon in order to utilize this groundbreaking tech and build our new project, Polygon Zero, highly scalable, Ethereum-compatible ZK rollup. And he states, we have committed $1 billion from the Polygon treasury to this effort, and we outline our plans in our ZK thesis. Look, it's all about how you can scale, right? I could do, and this is even a lesson for me, this channel could do much better if I was better at scaling and getting people in there to help me to actually do research and thumbnails and everything else. The more that I can bring people in and scale this channel, the bigger I'll get. And of course, companies know this as well. And on a much grander scale, they say, look, if we can just bring these projects in and we can buy them all up and we can add them to what we're doing, we can scale so much faster than doing it ourselves. And it's a perfect example. And then to finish up, the project recently revealed Polygon Maiden, a Stark-based Ethereum-compatible rollup on November 16th, and Polygon Nightfall, a privacy-focused rollup. So look, if this is not financial advice, but this is just investment. This is financial opinion. I would take a real hard look at Polygon, see where things are going. That's all I got to say. So look, let me know what you think about that in the comment section. And then let's finish up with always prepare. And it's a big thing about, I made this mistake in 2017. I thought that the technology would lead us to the promised land, and why wouldn't everybody just get into Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else? Because that's where things were going. But it's about timing. So Robert Kiyosaki, I've read his books. He's a good guy, but he's a little, sensationalism. But I think he really does believe that it's going to be a big crash. The depression is coming. He predicts that gold, silver, Bitcoin, and real estate will crash too. But here's the thing: it always does. So this is what is going on. And I bring this up to make sure that you're aware and to kind of broaden your horizons. He states, crash and depression coming. This is on tweet. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, real estate will crash too. Ready to buy more gold, silver, Bitcoin, real estate after crash has crashed. Time to get richer after the fake inflation crashes. I don't know about all that, but sure. So this is the thing. So look, I just brought this to your attention because it could go either way, right? I think personally that, actually, let me go back. I think personally that it more stands to reason about this. This is from Simon Yu, and he says, hey, I'm not convinced. And Simon Yu is the CEO of StormX. Pretty smart guy. You should follow him if you see him on Twitter. He said, I'm not convinced that the narrative of everything is effed with inflation and COVID is going to last long. Still betting January or February we start seeing crazy bullish behavior again. Institutions once again get a chance to buy for cheap while retail panics. So again, they do, because if you looked at it, it's been a lot of manipulation, I think. This Omicron variant that comes out, all of a sudden, oh, it's really not that it is contagious, but it's not that deadly, so not a big deal. And then, of course, inflation comes around. They're like, oh, well, you know what? It's just transitory. And then, but before you know it, it's like everything starts to fluctuate, and of course, the price goes down. Who can get in? The people that didn't get in before, which is the mega rich, and here we are. And then Simon said this. This was the most important thing. Interesting perspective I heard from a fund manager yesterday. Apparently, most funds have sold or are in the process of selling assets because 2021 was such a monster year for everyone. Of course it was, because we printed like crazy, and where that money go to in the stock market? Prices went up, but the stocks went up because really it was just by inflation. He says they are locking in their profits for the year so they can say our fund did 700%, etc. And this is actually the same thing that James talked about with Raoul Powell, that a lot of different hedge funds are coming in next year because they have to sell off for taxes towards the end of the year, and then everything kind of rolls again. So look, the thing that Rich Dad said, and Robert Kiyosaki and Simon said, I want you just to be aware of, be prepared for both situations as they come forth. So if you were like me and say, you know what, I'm just putting 100% in, sell the house, sell the kids, sell the kidneys, and just put it all into crypto, you can do that. But sometimes we know where things are going. I just don't know the exact time. So have a little bit of dry powder on the side. If you're going to dollar cost average in, maybe dollar cost average out. Have a little bit of dry powder on the side, because where millionaires and billionaires are made is when everything crashes and goes down, or even small dips, 10%, 20%. But 80% is when everybody made a boatload of money, and they did it in 2018, and they're looking to do it again in probably 2022. So look, that's all I have for today. I know it was a little